And we're live. Welcome, whiskey brothers and sisters, to the Canadian Whisky Journeys, the True North, Dram, and 3. So this was inspired by our time together on the Whiskey Book Club's Canadian Whisky Journey. We spent 15 weeks together this summer traveling the country, going back and forth and talking about whiskey and other lovely liquids in this vast, beautiful country of ours. And I couldn't let it go, gentlemen. I had to just keep it going. And so what we wanted to do, we called it the True North because we're going to focus on Canadian whiskeys, one a week, every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, where you gentlemen are. The Dram, because I want to do whiskey for the most part, but Blair's convinced me to open my palate a bit and try other things as well. So that'll happen, with the caveat that I have to be able to drink it straight. I have to be able to drink anything straight and appreciate it. So then we can have it. Something like the vodka would go just fine. And 3, because hopefully all 3 of us are going to be together most weeks. Doesn't always happen, but we try. Week after week after week. So I'm just going to get rid of these little comment things on the side, the banners. We don't want this going across for too long. And again, welcome to this. Today, we are doing a Parallel 49 single malt. Get a good look at that. We've got some pictures of it, but we're going to talk about the Odd Society. And gentlemen, as I scan through these pictures a little bit, if I miss something about the distillery, please fill people in, because I'm going to forget stuff. And here, let's put their banner up top instead of me. Let's do that. There's the Odd Society. There, that's nice. And they're in, well, northeast Vancouver, and here's a better shot of it right there. And that's what it looks like from the inside. And this is the picture we all talk about. We love it. And their stills, they have a pot still and a column still. And there's that's Joel McNichol, I believe, correct?
Looks like him.
Looks like, okay. And so they've got 3. So Gordon Lance, he's co-owner with Miriam. Gordon has a Master of Brewing Distilling at Heriot-Watt University in Edinburgh. I was about to say Glasgow, and someone's going to get mad at me. So he's got traditional background in brewing distilling, but he also likes to innovate, which brings us to kind of what we're doing today, the innovation of this set. We're going to do one a week, starting with the Parallel 49 and doing 2 other weeks from now. This is the one we're focusing on today. And sorry, Davin, I've blocked you up completely with it.
I'm sure you improved the view for everyone.
I'm sure it's perfect. It's good. No, we like it. We like to see your face. And we told Davin we make them large. So we'll make them large. There we go. As I talk. Miriam Karp is the distillery manager, Gordon's wife. And if you want anything done, you go to this lovely lady and she gets it done. And the third individual at their distillery, saw the picture of him, and Joel McNichol. And where did he work before, Blair?
I believe it was a brewery called R&B in Vancouver.
All right.
He was the head brewer there. And so I get the impression he's well connected through the Vancouver community with the brewery scene.
And this is his idea, I believe, or maybe not his idea, but maybe his ability to get it done because of his links. And I'm going because of their Instagram posts and their Facebook posts. I'm pretty sure I saw that it was him that kind of, and I hate to say this because I remember talking to Miriam and Gordon about this. They were our very first guests on the Canadian Whisky Journey when we did the book club. So they were the very first guests, which worked perfectly with them being the first ones today. I remember them saying that they wanted to do this. And so I was thinking it was Gordon, but as I'm reading their posts on Instagram and Facebook, I'm thinking more and more that it was a big part of Joel's influence there. So I haven't met you, Joel, and hopefully I do one day. And Gordon, Miriam, or Joel, one of you can set me straight if I'm completely wrong. So let's start. Let's introduce this whiskey. So Parallel 49 Old Boy, and it's their Old Boy brown ale, which has chocolate, caramel, and it's just a little bit of slight bitterness on there. And they're a 5%. I think it's 5 or 5.2, one of those. So that's the beer. But they were the ones that created the wort, and they the beer itself, when they brought it to the Odd Company, wasn't at 5%. I believe it was 8%. Do either of you remember if it was that high before they brought it to
I
them?
don't remember it, and I'm kind of wishing I had a bottle of the beer to taste. You know, it's hard to believe that this broadcast is now 1/3 finished, and we still haven't tasted any whiskey.
Oh, we got to do it. All right, so done. The name of it, though, is Old Boy Canadian Whiskey or Old Boy Single Malt Whiskey. I'm not sure.
Single malt whiskey is what I see.
All right.
You know what I love is that right on the bottle, it says Canadian whiskey. So there you go.
Whiskey.
Canadian whiskey. But if we look at your site, here's your site. And if anyone wants to see their notes on this, and Davin and Blair do this all the time. So this is on their site, CanadianDistilleries.com. You can see lots of the different types of spirits that they review. So it's not all whiskey. They do a lot of whiskey, but tons of others. So I'm going to be tasting mine right now. And just to give you guys a little bit of information just about these two gentlemen beside me, I'm just going to click who they are. So here we go. I just want, nope, Blair right there. That's Blair. And if you want to get him in the future, that's where you go. Twitter at BlairPhillips.com, Instagram Liquid6. And there's Davin. Looks good. That's Davin. And we're done. We're going to taste. What do we think?
Holy cow.
6 minutes in and we're tasting.
Smell first.
Mm.
And I sweetness.
I always like to taste two whiskeys. So I'm tasting this Commodore to compare the Parallel 49 to, because Odd Society makes two core whiskeys that are really very, very good. I like the Commodore, and the other one, the Prospector's a rye. Commodore is a single malt, but tasting them head to head, you really see that the Parallel 49 Old Boy it's a fruitier whiskey than Commodore. They're both quite malty, but I find that there's a little more fruit in this. And Blair and I were going back and forth talking about these, and we work together when we're putting our posts together. And I got these chocolate covered cherries in this, and he came back and he said, "I'm getting cola. I get notes of cola in this." And well, maybe it's power of suggestion, but of course, as soon as he said that, I could get those cola notes as well. But this is really quite a complex whiskey. And remember, this whiskey is only 3 years old, and it's already really doing quite well. Now, these guys are good at using good barrels and getting the flavors out of them. So, but I'm really quite delighted, and I'm a little bit sad that it's sold out so quickly, because the people are going to miss it. But honestly, if you ever get a chance, anybody ever gets a chance to taste from Odd Society, the P49 Old Boy, say yes. You're going to be delighted. Yeah. And I bet the prices are going to go up like crazy on the secondary market as well. But it's really great stuff. Tell me about your cola stuff, Blair.
Well,
is that on the nose or palate?
I get a lot on the nose, but it's not like a Coca-Cola right off the bat. It's more of the like, as Davin said, the cherries and the citrus and the vanilla and a little bit of cinnamon all jumbled up into this one mix.
Okay.
And I get a lot of it after it sits for a bit, and especially with a drop of water. That's when it starts to explode. And I find that a drop of water really brings out those malty beer notes in the finish, where it starts to transition from, it almost transitions from tasting like a whiskey to me to tasting like an ale. It's really cool that they've captured the essence of the brewery within the whiskey itself. And I think they're
percent. It's 46%. The water doesn't dilute it too much, and it does open it up. And for me, though, and where this became unique, and we're only doing unique whiskeys and whiskeys we like on this program, what makes this really unique and why I like it is the flavors I think I'm getting from the yeast. So there seems to be flavors that I wouldn't get otherwise that I think is coming out because it's a brewed beer. So it's a distilled brewed beer. And I think the yeast that they would have used, different from the yeast that they usually use, is giving me a lot of different notes here. It's very, very different.
It could well be. I noticed a little bit of almost beeriness, yeastiness, which surprised me. And I could notice a little bit of that in the beginning. But yeah, you're right. These flavors are quite different. Like the red fruits in the P49 really kind of are beyond the fruitiness you get in the Commodore, for example.
Well, I think we get green apple in both. You can tell me if you still have that in the Commodore, but the green apple comes out right away for me. But I get grassy and I get hay. And I think you had hay as one of your commentaries there, Blair, didn't you think?
Mm-hmm.
It was? So,
yep. Hay and lots of
hay. And very malty, obviously, because of the beer. But
I didn't get that green apple, and now I can taste it very well now that you've said that, Dolph.
We're all influencing each other here.
I should have consulted you, yeah.
Well, you go ahead. But the cola part, I can agree with Blair, not on the palate for me, but just on the nose. And it's not a smell of Coke, like you would say, but the effervescent from like the bubbles that come up from up.
Exactly.
That's
exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And we did say this. These bottles come in at 375 mils. They were selling them at $39 each, plus tax, plus shipping. And I haven't had too much yet, but it's going to go down very quickly, I think. And it's something that you could pour for people, which is really unique, because we've talked about two brewers lots in the past, but they don't brew their beer. And I talked to Dave about this more specifically today, just to make sure, not today, yesterday. And they don't make a beer out of it. They did that one specific time, and from their beer, they made the whiskey one single time, but they don't like doing that. They'll use different malts. Here, it's different. They've made the beer and they've bumped it up to 8%, and they put it in there do you know which cask? It's in cask for 44 months. That I read, but I can't remember what type of cask. Does anyone have an idea?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
No.
I don't remember.
Can we assume that it's first fill or second fill bourbon?
I would guess, if I were to guess,
because I get a bit of vanilla on it too. But the vanilla is not taking over whatsoever. It's just the sweetness. So maybe I'm thinking I got the vanilla on it.
Yeah. There's lots of grain and lots of malt in this. Dolph, what did you say the price was of those bottles?
$39.
Okay. Now it's also about
tax. Yeah.
I think that 10 years from now, when we're doing our 520th show, we should look at what the price of this is on the secondary market. Then, will it be $1,000 or will it be $400? Who knows? But I'm sure that people are going to be trying to get these. They didn't make enough. Gordon, if you're watching, make more next time, because it sold out that fast and people want it.
Here we go. Here's some stuff that they're telling us. There's some information there. Thank you, Miriam. But sorry, no, this is Gordon. Gordon said that he's talking on Miriam's account. So she got him set up, which she did. She's very helpful with the technology for Gordon, and got him all this. So 8% wort. Yeah, and a single malt. So we'll say single malt or Canadian whiskey, and it really doesn't. Let's interchangeable sometimes. In this case, it is.
Bell Golf, we have 1 minute left.
That's it. So let's do it on a scale. You're never going to buy this thing. You're going to buy this thing, and where you are in the middle. What do you think, gentlemen?
Yeah.
2 thumbs up. Oh, 4 thumbs up.
Buy it.
If you can find it.
If you can, and it's taken off the website, so I don't think it's available. But if you have a friend that has it and they haven't tried it yet, maybe you buy it off of them. Final notes, gentlemen. Blair, any last thoughts?
Yeah, if you can't get this, buy anything else on their shelf. It's all good.
Wonderful innovation at Odd Society. They've got so much more stuff coming as well. Check their barrel heads.
And I'm so happy to have actually done this, and I'm really happy Odd Society was #1 for us this time. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're signing off. We said we do this in 15 minutes or less, and we're doing it. So
Five,
thank you all
four,
and have a fantastic night.